Hello, my name is Joe Facenda. I am a realtor with REMAX Gateway in Northern Virginia, just outside of Washington, D.C., and I've been a realtor here for 30 years. In the last few years, I've made working with inherited property a specialty of mine and have even written a book on inherited property called When Parents Are Gone, What's Next with the House? And the book is available on Amazon. In this video, we will discuss whether or not you should sell the property privately to an investor or whether you should put it on the open market with a realtor. I know you're saying, hey, that guy's a realtor. He wants you to use his services. And I do if you're going to put it on the market with a realtor. But there are times when it might be in your best interest to sell privately to an investor. A seller, any seller, a seller of inherited property, a seller of a personal residence, a seller of a rental property, has to look at three different factors and determine which are most important to them. The first is price. How do I get the highest price? How do I put the most money in the bank? And that's where most sellers go. But some sellers prioritize time. They want the sale done quickly, and they are willing to sacrifice dollars for time. And the third set of sellers values convenience. They want a hassle-free transaction. Their life is very busy. Please, once the contract's signed, I just want to make sure we go to settlement. Don't load it up with lots of contingencies. Just get me to settlement and let's make it happen. And they too will sacrifice dollars for convenience. In the inherited property space, I've come across many heirs and inheritors of property who needed the proceeds from the sale of the home yesterday. Maybe they had a financial situation personally that needed to be resolved, and the proceeds from the sale were going to do that quickly. Or maybe they needed the proceeds from the sale in order to deal with some other financial issue within the estate, and they needed the money now. If that's the case, if that's your case, then selling privately to an investor might be the best way to go. They will typically settle within a week or 2 weeks. I've had situations where people just didn't want the house shown. I had a situation where family members were still living in the house, and for very personal reasons, they didn't want anybody to come by. They wanted a convenient, easy sale. They sold to an investor. They sacrificed dollars for convenience. Now, by definition, remember, an investor wants to buy as low as possible, and a realtor wants to help you sell as high as possible. So if money is your number one priority, then you should put it on the market with a realtor. Now, you might say to me, well, the house is really run down. I'm not sure I could really put it on the open market and sell it. Let me tell you that you might be wrong on that. I have worked with investors a lot throughout my career, and I've seen many different types of investors. Every investor has a different profit margin, a different cost of labor, cost of materials, different ideas to how upgraded a certain house should be, a different speed of their renovations. Some can do it very quickly, some take longer, which costs them more money. So every investor will come up with a different price for your house. I have seen investors give offers on homes in the moderate entry-level price ranges that can vary by tens of thousands of dollars. Because again, everybody has a different business model. If your property is not in great shape, but livable, and somebody could live there while they renovate, that puts us into a different category. And we might be able to sell to an owner-occupant who's looking for a little sweat equity, and they will pay more than an investor. So it might be worth a shot to start there. It really depends on the condition of the property. The way I price a property that is a little rough is I try to determine what that property would sell for if it were completely renovated and a model home. Then we need to subtract out the cost of the repairs and renovations to get it to that level. And then if we were selling to an owner-occupant, subtract out some amount for sweat equity or budget surprises or things like that. And you'll often find somebody willing to buy for that price. If you were selling to an investor, you would still determine what the after repair value would be, the cost of the repairs, change that sweat equity number to a profit number, which would probably be larger than the sweat equity number, forcing the price lower. And then you need to factor in the transactional cost for the investor. Because remember, they're going to have a couple $1,000s of closing costs when they buy the property. They're going to have closing costs when they sell the property. They're going, if they borrowed money, which most investors do, they're going to have interest on that while the property is being renovated until it's sold. They're going to have to pay the taxes and the insurance on the property until the property is sold. So those numbers then need to come out, pushing the investor price significantly below an owner-occupied price. Now, some homes just are so rough they need to sell to an investor, but I've had success selling homes not in the greatest shape to owner-occupants. Now, there might be one other situation, regardless of condition and such, where you really should put the house on the market with a realtor. If you are say you're an executor and there are many beneficiaries of the will, maybe there's a charity that's a beneficiary of the will, you have an obligation to do the best you can for those people, those entities, whatever. You don't want anybody coming back to you and saying you sold the house too low to make your job easier. The only way you can be sure that you sold the house for the highest and best price is to put it on the open market. If you are in that situation where you're representing many, many different people and many different entities, and you are thinking of selling to an investor, talk to an attorney before you decide to do that and see if you're putting yourself at any kind of legal jeopardy. I can't give advice on that specifically, but in general, many times the executors I worked with, where there's a charity involved, feel they need to do the best they possibly can for that organization. So that is a summary of whether you should sell privately to an investor or sell using a realtor. There are many different unique situations that I could not cover in this video. So if you have a question, please reach out and I'd be happy to discuss it with you. If you are selling a property that is not in the greatest shape, the next video will discuss whether or not you should fix it up or whether or not you should sell it as is. If this is the end of your video journey, thank you so much for watching these videos. If you're going to check out one of the other videos, I'll see you there and we'll continue the conversation then. Thank you so much for watching.